Good evening and welcome to News Tonight. We're live on GHOne Television and we're also live on DSTV channel 361. My name is Kimini Amano.
And I'm Patrick Stevenson. Coming up in the headlines for the evening.
Government vows to retrieve 51.2 million cedis wrongfully paid to embattled businessman Alfred Woyome as Supreme Court dismisses application praying for a stay of his oral examination.
Well, again, the police service tops list as most corrupt public institution. This is according to the Round 7 Afrobarometer survey. We'll delve more into that report on Insight. To stay with us.
Coming up in business, Italy announces a €25 million grant to boost small and medium-scale enterprises in Ghana.
Welcome once again to News Tonight. To our very first story, our government has vowed to continue in its efforts towards retrieving the 51.2 million Ghana cedis wrongfully paid to businessman Alfred Woyome. Now, it follows the Supreme Court's dismissal of an application filed by Woyome's lawyers seeking to stay proceedings regarding his oral examination by the Attorney General. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has also rejected the order by the African Court of Human and People's Rights in Tanzania, asking it to halt proceedings leading to the retrieval of the 51.2 million judgment debt.
The African Court on Human and People's Rights in Tanzania on 24th November 2017 ordered Ghana to suspend all efforts to retrieve the 51.2 million cedis owed the state until the court determines an appeal filed by the businessman Alfred Woyome, who argues that his human rights are being abused by the Supreme Courts of Ghana. However, sitting on the case today, the 5-member panel of Supreme Court justices, chaired by Justice Jones Doche, unanimously dismissed the order by the African Court of Human and People's Rights to halt processes leading to the retrieval of the 51.2 million cedis debt. According to the justices, Ghana's Supreme Court has no real factual and legal basis to share its powers and jurisdiction with any other court that can compel it to halt its proceedings. The justices further went on to dismiss Mr. Woyome's application for stay of proceedings pending the final outcome of the case before the African Court, describing it as one without merit. The Supreme Court has given state attorneys the green light to continue all processes to retrieve the 51.2 million cedis wrongfully paid to businessman Alfred Woyome. Speaking to the media shortly after the Supreme Court's ruling, Deputy Attorney General Godfrey Dame said government will do all it can to retrieve the money.
Now, is it right for a citizen of Ghana who, by virtue of the resources at his disposal, can resort to international courts to obtain orders from the international court and then hold those same orders up binding on the Supreme Court of Ghana so as to derogate from the authority and to resort to the Supreme Court of Ghana? I do not think that is right at all. If indeed this ruling is made to stand, then it means it's promoting discrimination. How can citizens of Ghana in one breath be bound by orders to the Supreme Court of Ghana and another citizen too, by virtue of the resources that he has? He filed the case at the International Chamber of Commerce in London for $100,000. Those were the filing fees that he paid.
He also questioned how the African Court arrived at its ruling without the AG representing the state during the proceedings.
I mean, the case is still pending before the African Court and we will contest it. And I'm saying that indeed, if ample opportunity had been given to us to make the necessary representation and arguments for the African Court, they would not have arrived at this decision. This is a ruling given pursuant to no hearing, a ruling given in which the same ruling is indicated that they were represented, they were not represented. And indeed, there is no record of any service of any date on us. So I'm saying that something indeed went amiss, and yes, it's not going to affect the relations between Ghana and the African Court at all.
Now, the Ashanti Regional Police Command says it is taking action against its officers who brutalized some students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology on Saturday. Now, the police intervened after students affiliated to the university and Unity Halls clashed at the Babayaro Sports Stadium in Kumasi.
The students went on rampage, vandalizing vehicles and threatening the safety of passerbys, prompting the high-handed molestation from the officers. Deputy Ashanti Regional Police Public Relations Officer Chief Inspector Godwin Ahianyo tells GHOne News the police involved in the incident have been referred to the Police Intelligence and Professional Standards Bureau for investigation and possible sanctions.
What I can say for now is we have started with our investigation preliminary. We have our own internal disciplinary procedures that we always take. So for now, let us hold on for the PIPs to take up the matter, as they've already taken up the matter. Let us wait for them to come out with their report.
A video circulating on social media shows some policemen brutalizing some students of the university after two halls in the university clashed. It is unclear why the policemen were assaulting these students after arresting them.
Now to the health sector, where the embattled medical director at the Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital in the Central Region, Dr. Ernest Dodoe, has been given a 3-month ultimatum to restore healthy relations with irate workers. Now this follows a crunch meeting held between the leadership of the resentful workers and the hospital management.
After several weeks of tension at the Ankafo Hospital, these health workers extended their campaign to the health ministry. In a 62-seater bus filled to capacity, the irate health workers from Ankafo arrived with one mission: kick out their medical director, Dr. Ernest Dodoe. They chanted song outside the offices of the ministry while the leadership held a crunch meeting with the minister. Intermittently, some of the leaders had to abandon the meeting to calm their nerves. The meeting spanned for over 2 hours at the Health Ministry's conference room. Occasionally, snippets of information seeped through to the media and anxiously waiting nurses, indicating a stalemate. After a marathon engagement, the health minister spoke exclusively with GHOne News.
We have agreed that let us monitor. I will call him and also lay the petitions to him, and also advise, and within 3 months we will see if there should be some change in conduct.
Ofori Emmanuel, the PRO for the Psychiatric Nurses Group, said although they were not satisfied with the outcome of the meeting, they hope interim measures will change the situation.
And then he's pleading with us that he doesn't want to set a bad precedent, that just this year alone about 5 head of institutions have been removed because of allegations. So what he's saying now is that he's pleading with us to give him 3 months for him to assess the situation and then send auditors to our hospital, and then he's giving the hospital director 3 months probation. So we should ask to wait for 3 months for any happenings that will arise.
The Ankafo psychiatric health workers have been protesting, among other concerns, against the medical director, who they have tagged as hostile.
A reassuring end to such a very disturbing problem. You know that the nurses were letting off some of the patients.
So they were going to release some of the patients onto the streets. It would have been a very sad development, but we hope he's able to resolve this within the 3-month ultimatum that has been given.
Yep.
We'll take a breath. We'll be right back.
More and more people are using MTN mobile money in their everyday lives. Hear that? She just paid her kids' school fees. She just paid for her lunch. And this man just paid his tithe. And this guy just paid for his shoes. No. You just send money to the old lady again, eh? Very necessary.
Like money in your pocket.
Keep up with the times. Got a payment to make? Just Momo it. It's that simple, secure, and convenient.
Welcome to the sound of better money. MTN, everywhere you go.
Jame, therefore, ma yawo hoyi brings you. Na fe yemu so mo kwan.
Say the therefore say no. Wada Roma, manento nana say nsuo asem de mo ha na okra ye ba no ye de nsuo ba.
Ah! Adai. Se waba efie. Ah, wa say yen yema mu nsuo nom no. Wo so di nsuo ba. Any say.
Nana eti amra.
Therefore,
yesre wo. Nsuo we eye ahemfu nsuo a ye de afa mfidie mu. Asone so aye ne kroji. A Free Kingdom Beverages Limited. King's Drinking Water.
Bye man. Nsuo na de.
Edampa.
King's Drinking Water. Any na King's Drinking Water.
Ahifusio de.
Ghana needs your taxes. Do you pay your taxes? We drive on deplorable roads. Our children attend poorly resourced schools, and we visit hospitals in bad state. Let's pay our taxes no matter how small our income. Every little tax helps. We always ask, what does the government do with our taxes? Government depends on these taxes to bring development to us and to build our nation. So I ask, do you pay your taxes? I'm asking you, do you pay your taxes? It's your civic duty. It's the law. Our taxes, our future. This advert is brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, National Commission for Civic Education with support from UK Aid and GIZ.
Bronya. Freddy's Corner. Yasa babyum. Bronya obia se Freddy's Corner. Edientia. Yeah, chenyoma. I mean free instant gift. Nyawuya so be where Freddy's Corner shop bia wa Ghana ha baby ya. What try do Freddy's Corner bronya we ya? Ubenya chede bi to say wine, mackerel, biscuits, any nyoma would bebre.
Wow, Freddy's Corner, thank you. Freddy's Corner, me da say.
Nyawuya so be where Freddy's Corner shop bia wa Ghana ha baby ya. Na do mobile phone, with laptop, or printer, and also PlayStation. Na do instant gift. Wow, to Mrikako Freddy's Corner. Na what do watch here? Freddy's Corner, your home of authentic mobile phones and accessories.
Head office, Kokomlimli, any city light, ni DNMshare. Fre 020-7937-323.
8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, close to 2,000 hours a year. That's what you invest in your business as you strive for the life you dream of. You're putting in the work. Make sure you get what you deserve. Get retrenchment insurance. Get an overdraft. Get a Visa credit card. Get Barclays Prestige Banking. You've earned it.
Daily exposure to different environments leads to a buildup of germs, oil, and dirt. These can cause blemishes and uneven skin tone. You need new Dettol Even Tone. It removes 99.9% of germs and is formulated to remove excess oil and dirt, helping to reduce the appearance of blemishes, giving your family the confidence of healthy, even-toned skin. For an even better you, new Dettol Even Tone. Dettol V100%.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight live on GH1 television. Now, in other stories, representatives of Bono Afo are still pressing forward with their demands to split the region into three to make development coverage easier. The Omahene of Yeji and president of the Bono Afo House of Chiefs, Pimampim Yao Kobresi V, led a delegation Tuesday to make a convincing case to carve out Bono East region out of the existing Bono Afo.
According to the Omahene of Yeji, who also doubles as the president of the Brong Ahafo Regional House of Chiefs, Pimpimapim Yao Kobresi V, the creation of a Bono East region will make it easier for government to execute developmental projects in that part of the country. As it stands, the region is woefully underdeveloped due to its huge size.
When you compare the existing region, Brong Ahafo region, to other regions, you can see that there's the need to have some regions in addition, especially the Brong East. We need a region to also get infrastructure, to get economic needs, everything.
The secretary to the Coalition of Chiefs for the creation of Bono East, Professor Ameyawe Kumfi, explained why it was necessary to decentralize government's policies. But he also urged all regions to be proactive and not rely solely on government for development.
And this is why I feel that if you can break that region up, it makes it easier for planning to pay attention to some of these problems that exist in various corners of the area. But you see, it also means that regions will now have to be proactive. They have to do all they can to exploit the resources available there for sustenance. You can't forever rely entirely.
The Member of Parliament for Atebua-Manteng constituency and coordinator of the organizing committee for the creation of Bono East, Kofi Amoakohene, said the time was ripe to reconstitute the Brong Ahafo region, the food basket of the country.
We believe that getting it created, at least there will be direct contact, or some sort of approximation from the government to the people, and at least we could focus on developmental projects to open up that place of Brong Ahafo.
Well, we come back to Accra, this time in Parliament, where the Roads Minister Kwesi Amoakwanta was summoned to Parliament today, Tuesday, over the closure of the Buipe and Yape bridges and attending challenges to commuters. The sermon follows a protest by the minority leader Haruna Idrisu questioning the decision to close both bridges linking the north to the south without making alternative provisions.
According to minority leader Haruna Idrisu, the move by government has inconvenienced residents of the three regions up north. Speaker of Parliament consequently ordered the Roads Minister Kwesi Amoakwanta to brief Parliament about the situation by Thursday. Following the closure of the Buipe and Yape bridges in the northern region, over 400 heavy trucks and buses with several commuters crossing the Volta Lake at Yeji in the Bono Afo region to Makango in the northern region have been stranded for days as they are unable to cross the lake. The only ferry available at Yeji, MV Akrade, is unable to carry many vehicles at a go. The same ferry unfortunately does not work at night, causing many vehicles to be stranded for days. In September 2017, the Ghana Highways Authority set load limits for vehicles using the said bridges on the Kintampo-Tamale Trunk Road to save the bridges from further deterioration. Alternative routes were to be used by drivers while the bridges remained closed. However, on Monday, the Ghana Highways Authority closed down the Buipe and Yape bridges in the northern region, stating that the bridge is posing a threat to motorists and pedestrians.
Well, now we hope some solution comes to that problem, especially now that Parliament has called
calling the minister responsible for that particular development.
I can imagine what kind of effect it would have on
small and medium-scale businesses that need to connect using that time. Well, that could be very worrying, because if you travel on some of those areas, I mean, I've done the pontoon around the Volta region before. It can get very frustrating if you don't have alternatives.
Okay.
Well, let's hope they get some right answers. But we bring you some business news and developments around the economy with Kweku Timing on the sidelines. Kweku, over to you.
Thank you very much, Patrick Stevenson, and a very good evening, Kemeni and Mano. Well, tonight, interesting details with how the Italians are deciding to support us with some funds. When we come back, we'll tell you about this and other interesting business details. But for now, a message from Dusk Capital.
Business Brief is brought to you by Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you. We're looking for you, the next millionaire. We know of your stressful routine. From those 12-hour flights across the Atlantic to your hustle through traffic every day. From burning the midnight oil to that laptop that never sleeps. We know where you are in life, and we know where you want to go. Let us take you there. Thinking investment? Think Dusk Capital. Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Energy Media Group and GP Business Associates proudly presents the first ever Ghana Energy Awards. Under the auspices of the World Energy Council Ghana and the Ministry of Energy, the Labadi Beach Hotel will play host to Ghana's energy sector heroes on the 30th of November 2017 for a celebration of an outstanding year in the energy sector under the theme Energy for National Development, 60 years and beyond. For tickets and sponsorship, call 0244 443786. Our proud partners are the Energy Commission, Petroleum Commission of Ghana, National Petroleum Authority, the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Association of Oil Marketing Companies, and COPEC Ghana. This event is sponsored by Ghana Gas, Frimps Oil, and Japan Motors. It's also powered by Energy Ghana Magazine and validated by EY. The Ghana Energy Awards, redefining excellence. Everybody.
All right, so time for us to do some business now as Italian Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni has announced a €25 million grant to government of Ghana with the aim of supporting the acquisition of machinery to boost the production of the small and medium-scale industries in the country. Well, the Italian Prime Minister, who is on a two-day working visit to Ghana, disclosed this while holding bilateral talks with President Akufo-Addo at the Flagstaff House.
Addressing a press conference after holding bilateral talks with the Italian Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni at the Flagstaff House, President Akufo-Addo said the EU-AU summit taking place in Côte d'Ivoire tomorrow offers the leaders a unique opportunity to redefining the relationship between the two continents. According to him, the world leaders will be able to come up with well-thought-out ground rules that would sharpen the trade and economic relations between the two continents.
Looking at common issues of common concern, the development of our economies, the issue of migration, issues of terrorism which confront both our continents. And it's my expectation and hope that both Ghana and Italy will play very constructive roles in defining this new understanding, this new relationship between Europe and Africa.
The Italian Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni, on his part, indicated that he is hopeful that the EU-AU summit will mark the beginning of a new direction for the trade and economic cooperation between the two countries.
The economic relationship between the two countries are very positive. It should be noted that gas and renewable energy are very important in a developing country. The collaboration between Italy and Ghana is not only limited to energy, but it also extends to other areas, other sectors.
Siamo molto interessati allo sviluppo di un tessuto di piccole e medie imprese in diversi settori dell'economia del Ghana.
We are very interested in developing the small, medium companies in the Ghanaian economy.
All right, so let's now look at something surrounding the policy rate as Ghanaians can look forward to the reduction in the amount they have as interest on loans when the various measures aimed at formalizing the economy are completed. Well, that's according to the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Well, the average interest rate of 29% on loans in Ghana as at September 2017 is amongst the highest in Africa, with banks citing the risk of default as a major factor.
Ghana has one of the most expensive lending rates compared to its peers on the continent. For instance, lending rates in Botswana pay about 7%, while South African banks charge an average of 10.25%. Speaking at the 21st National Banking Conference in Accra, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia assured reforms are being put in place to address high interest rates, hence government's decision to introduce measures such as the National ID card and the Digital Property Addressing System to make it easier to identify and trace borrowers and thereby reduce the risk premium.
If we cannot uniquely identify individuals in our economy and also uniquely identify where they live, it becomes a very chaotic environment to do banking. And therefore, the risk premium will continue to be high. And even though you are bringing down the deficits and bringing down the T-bill rates, you are not going to see the impact on the lending rates in particular. And when you don't see the impact on the lending rates, it means that it makes it tougher for your customers to pay back the loans.
The Vice President urged banks to play a greater role in growing and strengthening Ghana's economy while assuring of government's commitment to ensuring macroeconomic stability. The 21st National Banking Conference is under the theme, Building a Robust and Sustainable Banking System in Ghana. It is being attended by heads of banking institutions in Ghana, as well as current and former governors of the Bank of Ghana.
All right, so just before we conclude business, a major threat likely to confront businesses in year 2018 is cybersecurity fraud. Well, this, according to cybersecurity expert Dela Dean, is likely to rob businesses in the country of several millions of US dollars if not properly addressed. Dela Dean, in an interview with GHOne Business, identified employees of businesses as the greatest assets, but pointed out that they also remain its greatest security risk. The managing partner of Delta 3 International, who was speaking to GHOne Business after a cybersecurity training in Accra, said the best way to make sure employees will not make costly errors is to consistently train them.
We know a lot of organizations are spending millions and spending millions on infrastructure, on security infrastructure. The message is simple. The hackers have devised new method. They target your employees. They target corporate Ghana employees, because employees are the easiest target. Employees are the weakest link in the security chain, and the only way to combat the hackers' plan is to attend these workshops.
Some of the facilitators identified many of the common risks associated with using computers, mobile devices and the internet, and warned of the need for all Ghanaians to equip themselves against the threats ahead.
Mobile users in Africa alone are more than 300 million. Okay, and the malware has increased by 600% just in the past year. And with the increase of mobile phones, the 7.7 million mobile phone bought last year. Okay, so as the number increases, the crimes also increase.
The path of the world going in terms of Internet of Things and other type of technology coming up, everybody has to be involved in the cyber world, the advancement of the cyber world. So what they should understand is the gap between their knowledge, the management knowledge and the technical folks in there, to explain to them, with seminars like this, as to how critical it is for them to get involved in protection of their data.
All right, so that's about all we have for you tonight in business. My name is Kweku Timen, but just before we go, a message from Das Capital. We appreciate them for sponsoring us.
Business Brief was brought to you by
Dusk Capital. We see a millionaire in you.
Well, you're still live on GHOne Television. This is News Tonight. Time now to bring you inside. Now, calls for stiffer punishment for corrupt public officials are deepening, and that's according to a new Afrobarometer survey. Now, about two-thirds of Ghanaians, representing 64%, want persons found guilty of corrupt acts jailed and publicly named and shamed. This year's Afrobarometer survey focused on corruption, illegal mining, mob justice, and vigilantism. The report mentioned the Ghana Police Service as the most corrupt public institution, according to Ghanaians. Now, there is more in this report filed by Abina Usunyamiche.
With respondents dotted across the 10 regions of Ghana, the Afrobarometer survey revealed that 92% of Ghanaians believe personnel of the police service engage in various corrupt activities, among other public institutions. They were followed by judges and magistrates with 88%. Also, 80% of Ghanaians believe that traditional leaders in the country are corrupt.
The question was direct, and we made a statement in terms of the type of naming and shaming that they will want. And the statement was that the stolen money that is retrieved is used to put up a public facility, and then the name of that corrupt official written on it, that this public facility was built with stolen money retrieved from so and so. And that is what most of Ghanaians went in for. Meaning that corruption has become a problem, and now they want people to have a history.
This is not the first time the police service has been cited as the most corrupt public institution in Ghana. An Afrobarometer survey in 2014 ranked the police as most corrupt officials, as well as the socio-economic and governance survey conducted by the Institute of Economic Affairs in 2015. Security analyst Emmanuel Soate says the process of recruitment into the service must be made robust to ensure people of high integrity join the security agency.
I believe that, I'm yet to see the recruitment form, but I believe that when we are recruiting personnel, there is vetting. It has challenges though, but I think that we should have guarantors that, okay, Mr. Emmanuel Soate is being recruited, who vouches for his integrity. And then when we have those two people, when the person does well and the person is being promoted, special promotion, we mention that, oh, the person was also recommended by this chief or this pastor or this imam. When the person does something that is disgraceful, we also say that, okay, Mr. X is being sacked.
Some Ghanaians, however, rated government's performance in the fight against the canker very high. While 60% believe the NPP government has performed creditably, about 30% of Ghanaians say the efforts aren't enough. Former Commissioner on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Justice Emil Short, argues that the country is losing the fight against corruption.
The government and state institutions must take more seriously the fight against corruption, and I'm hoping that it should not just be setting up the Office of Special Prosecutor. We must be looking at sensitization, massive sensitization of the public on the evils and costs of corruption, and preventive measures, preventive interventions in order to reduce the occurrence and the opportunities for corruption.
Also, in the area of mob justice, while some 82% believe citizens should rely on the police in dealing with criminals, a few people think the act is justifiable. On the issue of vigilantism, 88% of Ghanaians approve that government should prosecute persons engaged in the act, irrespective of their political affiliation. 74% of respondents also supported government's clampdown on illegal mining activities.
Well, now these are some very interesting insights, but we have been joined by the authors of the report, one of the authors of the report, I should say, in the person of Dr. Kojo Asante, who's a senior research fellow with CDD. They authored this particular report, and he will be sharing some insights as far as the findings of the report are concerned. Dr. Asante, if you can hear me, thank you for joining us.
Good evening to your viewers.
Well, so brilliant report. Can you walk us through exactly what you did? You know, what the methodology looked like, so the viewers can appreciate exactly what CDD has done.
Well, this is a nationally representative sample of 2,400 Ghanaians. So normally this is done of adult Ghanaians 18 and above, and the sample is random. So we try to match the adult population as represented in the in the census with the sample that we draw, so that if we have 10% of the population in Western region in our sample, we should have 10% of our respondents coming from the Western region. It's the same, we have the same distribution of urban to rural areas and so on. So it's a fairly representative sample. Make sure it matches what the adult population looks like in Ghana.
So clearly, this has the result of the report have implications for what policymakers should be doing. Now, if I should go to some of the key findings in this report, there's a portion that you indicate that there's a certain attitude of Ghanaians towards emigration, and I think the conclusion there is that about 1/3 of Ghanaians have declared an intention to emigrate within a year or two, whilst about 10% are thinking about doing so within the next couple of months. Why is this the case?
I think why is the case, one of the reasons that are cited, why people want to immigrate, has to do with looking for work. So unemployment obviously is a very big issue. I mean, I think it has been an issue for a couple of years now. The last election featured very prominently in some of our surveys. So it's a confirmation that there's still a lot of work to do in terms of trying to get, jobs for the majority of Ghanaians. Actually, if you look at the demographic data in terms of the sample, the majority of people who responded are between the ages of 18 and 35. I think that's over 50% of the sample, which is also reflective of our age, demographics as well. So there's a lot. It means there's a lot of young people who are looking out, are feeling that the prospects for them are not good enough, and are preparing to go out, in spite of all the horror stories that we hear from people trying to emigrate to other countries. So that's a worry, I think, for everybody. And it means that there's a lot of work to be done.
Well, so the government clearly must take some cues from this to inform the sort of, job creation strategies that it is putting across for the next year or two, shouldn't it?
Exactly. I think what this reveals is that the problem is a very deep and because if you have a third of this sample, which is basically representing a third of the population of the adult population sample, is saying that they plan to immigrate or they are thinking of immigrating in a year or two, and 1 in 10 people are actually saying that they are actually making preparations, getting their visas and so on. That's quite a significant number. So there's a lot of work to be done to try to address the unemployment program, unemployment problem.
Now, Dr. Asante, do they indicate the area, for example, or jurisdictions, for example, that they would prefer to emigrate to, whether they emigrate into countries within West Africa or thinking about countries that are outside of Africa, for instance?
No, definitely outside of Africa, in North America and in Europe. I think North America was about 39% and Europe was about 31%. So that's also reflective of the patterns that we've been seeing, that they see these places that having more greener pastures than where they currently are. So that's a clear preference for that, and very few people did consider migrating to an African country.
Now there is the bigger subject, which is the subject of corruption, and we do know that anytime your reports are released, either the government debunks or public officials debunk the outcome as far as the perception of corruption is concerned. Can you tell us exactly what's happened on this particular indicator for this year?
I think what was striking about the findings was that, the ratings of informal leaders, I mean, that's how we categorize them. These are people who don't have public official sort of responsibilities like religious leaders and business executives or media executives or NGOs and so on. The ratings of those group of people was quite shocking. I mean, 80% of the population perceive the traditional authority to be corrupt. That's the real problem. I think this is the first time we've seen this kind of high rating for traditional leaders. The same for religious leaders, for media, private and public media, for business executives and so on. That actually reflects a certain perception that corruption is so pervasive that it permeates every fabric of society, and that is a real worrying sign for Ghanaians. If we don't do something drastically about dealing with stemming the tide of corruption, we would completely erode our, all our morality and our social fabric. It's really a difficult problem.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Kojo Asante, who is a Senior Research Fellow at CDD, for sharing the insights on the Afrobarometer report that has just been released. Very interesting insights.
That's how pervasive
corruption has gotten to now. It is no longer, it used to be a thing about the public sector and
the police. You should
service.
add that.
You just had
consistently
to bring that in.
They have been in the list.
I know.
IGP appeared to agree to you this evening. But let's check out what some of you have been saying about this perception survey. The police has been captured again as the most corrupt among public officials in the 2017 Afrobarometer report. And we asked, why does this keep recurring? 42% of you say they take too many bribes, and 38% unprofessional conduct. 13 say no proper orientation. 42% say, nearly 50% say, the police accept too many bribes.
The thing is this. If you take the final comments that was made by Dr. Asante, right, which is the fact that you have, these other institutions, chieftaincy institutions and other religious institutions that are equally being corrupt now. You wouldn't blame the police service alone, would you? So training and orientation and all of these things may not necessarily matter. Maybe we are beginning to lose confidence in ourselves that we can win the fight against corruption, but who knows?
But it also means that we haven't seen any progress in the police's image as far as, corruption perception is concerned. It hasn't happened. And so if 42% of people think that the police accept too many bribes, we could also say 42% give too many bribes, right?
That's an interesting way of putting it.
That'll be all for Insight, but do stay on for some more stories. Now, another story, the AG's department is yet to pay out an 800,000 cedi compensation to 27-year-old man who is suffering paralysis as a result of being shot by the police. Stephen Arthur was allegedly shot by Stephen Frimpong, a police officer at the Bodriase Kaswa barrier on December 4, 6 years ago. This was after the driver of the taxi he was in refused to give the police officer extra bribe.
27-year-old Stephen Arthur is seeking justice almost 7 years after he was shot by a police officer on duty at Bodriasi Barrier near Kasua. After his story was aired on GHOne TV, human rights activists came to the aid of Stephen to push for justice for him. According to Stephen Arthur, a day after the story was aired on GHOne TV, he had a call from the Attorney General's office telling him that the check for his compensation was ready but needed to be signed. That, to Stephen, was a sign of relief. 3 months down the line, Stephen is yet to come to receive his money. The 800,000 compensation to Stephen has delayed due to bureaucracy. Stephen uses catheter but often has infection because of his inability to change it frequently due to lack of money. Stephen's health is now deteriorating rapidly due to his inability to access health care.
The lawyers called me and said the Attorney General has requested for judgment debt, so judge have to sign the judgment debt on last week, Friday. So judge has signed the judgment debt letter. So now we are waiting for the Attorney General to send the documents and the letter to the Finance Minister office. I'm not fine because I'm being in hospital for so long. Infections have developed bed sores in my back now, so I'm suffering now.
Director of Communications for Human Rights Africa has been assisting Stephen since his story came to light. They pushed for justice till the court ordered that Stephen be paid compensation on 6th October 2017. And now he says they are disappointed with the pace at which justice is served citizens.
The court ordered payment of that offer almost a month now. But before then, there was a lot of bureaucracy in the system that even slowed when the offer was made. It is our hope that the institutions in charge, the Attorney General's Department, the Ministry of Finance, will speeden up the process so that we can save the young man. It's quite disturbing that for 6 years we have still not seen the brighter side of justice to Stephen Arthur.
Stephen, whose dream was to become a professional footballer, has now given up all hopes of a full recovery. Stephen says he wishes to die a meaningful death than to live a meaningless life.
Well, some relief for the gentleman. The time now to bring you international brief. Well, we go straight to Kenya, where Uhuru Kenyatta has vowed to overcome Kenya's divisions after being sworn in for a second term as president at a ceremony boycotted by the opposition. Now, speaking after his inauguration in the capital, Nairobi, he said he will try to incorporate some of the opposition's ideas in the spirit of inclusivity. 2 people died when the police clashed with opposition supporters in the city. Meanwhile, opposition leader Raila Odinga has announced plans to be sworn in himself as president next month.
We may have chosen different candidates and different visions, but each one of us voted for a better life. I too listened carefully to my competitors, and in the spirit of inclusivity, I will endeavor to incorporate some of their ideas.
Now, Zimbabwe's new president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, has offered a 3-month amnesty for individuals and companies to surrender public funds illegally stashed abroad. In a statement, he said the government will prosecute those who fail to comply when the amnesty ends in February. Mnangagwa, since taking office last week, has pledged to crack down on corruption. This is a general amnesty to all individuals and corporates, but Mnangagwa's reference to Operation Restore Legacy, the military operation that led to President Mugabe's resignation, appears to have specific public officials in mind. The operation has already seen former Finance Minister Ignatius Kumbu arrested and charged with corruption charges his family says are trumped up.
Limited, Kakai 777 bitters.
Me pensa papa bia no manu bina shemu. Ghana ne China no bina kwani e dia shemu. Chiche bina obeye fine. Drink and make you no waste time. Kakai beaters, yeah, come. It's good for your party, so Kakai beaters. Kakai beaters. For your engagement, so Kakai beaters. Kakai beaters. Good for your funeral, so Kakai beaters. Kakai beaters. It's good for your wedding, so Kakai beaters. Your wedding, so Kakai beaters. It's good for your party, so Kakai beaters. Kakai beaters. For your engagement, so Kakai beaters. Kakai beaters. Good for your funeral, so Kakai beaters. Kakai beaters.
Num nyansem and Tom Manipa when Yampia don't watch and Sessa Appin for num. Our drinking sport BM Kakai 777 bitters and Kasa.
Charlie, Christmas they come. NASCO will shake the market again with huge discounts and free gifts. You can get the 24-inch NASCO digital satellite television for 599 Ghana cedis, or the 32-inch for just 799 Ghana cedis. Even the 50-inch set, you can get up for 1,999 Ghana cedis per. They come with free home theater and a wall mount.
Then the market go be well for this Christmas.
That's in the starts now. You talk say Christmas, and you can also get yourself a NASCO air conditioner for 1,199 Ghana cedis and get a free AC bracket.
People will enjoy it, Papa.
If it's a gas cooker where you like, pick up the 4-burner NASCO cooker, which is ranging from 499 Ghana cedis to 1,090 Ghana cedis, and you go get yourself free kettle. Or if it be the 5-burner stainless steel one you want, you get yourself a free oven toaster. The NASCO Christmas warmer promotion is available in all NASCO showrooms and authorized dealers. NASCO, bring home happiness.
Welcome back. This is News Tonight. We're live on GHOne Television. Weather report is next.
Well, entertainment news is up next in E-Zone.
It's good to be here once again. You know, we started S Concert. You know, the first edition we were on there. You know, ironically, everybody's name on there was S. Ironically, everybody that was happening that year was name started with the letter S. But yeah, it looks like this year we have a few more varieties on the list. But yeah, I'm S and I made it on the list. So hey, I'm here and it's gonna go down at the stadium. So yeah, this is the confirmation. I'm here for my own people with my own vibes. So tell a friend to tell a friend, tell everybody else. High grade is gonna be in the building. S Concert 2017 confirmed at shit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. S Concert 2017. Oi. The tuna sun is sissy kitty kitty. Sa or Cambro footy china no ya risi risi. Nisi munjira smile siri siri. On penny wants a minute no chili chili. Yeah.
But why you flex me? Why you think say I be 20? My phone always the ring, cause the girls I get plenty. Flex. Hey, yo, but why you flex?
You dey flex so.
Flex. Everybody they blow me fans, like I'm some new big star. Social media guru, I keep up with the trends. Pass internet, I connect with my friends. Charlie, I flex you. Quality movie on my screen, straight from YouTube.
Hey, mama, who flex you?
I get money from my phone to make a sort you. We dey chill for Facebook like Ice Cube. With Airtel Flex, enjoy more of what you like. Watch movies, stream videos and songs, get free social media all day long, and exciting money backs. Whatever your style is, we have a package for you. Dial *125# to choose your flex. Now, you dey flex. Airtel, the smartphone network.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life with NASCO Allure and Allure Plus. Super selfie, super battery. NASCO, bring home happiness.
Well,
no, you go. You go.
No, that's about all we have for you for tonight on the bulletin. My name is Patrick Stevenson.
Yeah, he stole my line, but my name is Kemi Yamano. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.